K35, we are looking at about 3.3 kg that is going to be fed to the bird.
And how about the water capacity? Is it a heavy consumer of water?
These birds drink a lot of water. In the cycle of the bird, well, for 35 days, we are looking at about 7 liters. 42 days, you're looking at about 8 liters per bird. So you must have enough water in the farm. And not just water, clean water. What you cannot drink, do not give your bird.
So aside from water hygiene, take us through the pests and diseases, especially the ones that these chicken are susceptible to.
The most common disease in broilers is what we normally refer to as kingoroto or Micoplasma. Micoplasma is a bacteria that gets into the respiratory system of the bird, and the bird kind of sneezes every time. And it irritates the bird, it stresses the bird, and the bird is not able to be as efficient as you would like it to be. Number two, it spreads very easily through the coop. After its incubation period, you may find one bird sneezing, and after about 5-6 days, the entire coop is, sneezing. The other one is Escherichia coli. E. coli is actually a notorious bacteria that, itasumbua kuku from day 1 till maturity, and it will bring it down on mortality.
How do you control it now?
Basically, you just have to have a very good biosecurity. Sanitation must be top-notch, clean water, a clean environment, so that you do not give bacteria an opportunity to multiply, whether it's in the water system or whether it's on the floor. Because if you have a lot of wet litter or caked litter, then that's a recipe for disaster. That's where bacteria will harbor, and eventually they will multiply, and everybody will be infected. The other are viral infections. We do vaccinate against Gumboro and Newcastle, but vaccination is not a full guarantee that you will not get that kind of infection in the farm. So that's why we have a strong biosecurity system in the farm to keep away wild birds and to keep away visitors, and to monitor the birds every 2 hours, and to segregate or isolate any bird that we will see that has symptoms or features of being sickly. We are going to grade these birds into different sections so that we can put the bigger birds on one section and the younger birds on one section, so that the feeding process is actually easier. That means the bigger birds do not have to intimidate the smaller birds when they're feeding. But overall, yes, there are a lot of diseases in the broiler sector, but the key thing is have a good, strong biosecurity system. It is not a foolproof guarantee that you will not get an infection, but at least you will mitigate from those notorious diseases that may come when you're unprepared. Yeah.
You're quite knowledgeable about this, but now let's move swiftly to the money factor, because I've seen so many people are now shifting into broiler farming. Why is it so? Why is it so lucrative? Why the movement?
I've actually been growing broilers for many years, and the reason why I chose broilers is the turnaround time of my finance. In 8 weeks, I've got my money back. Every 8 weeks, I've got my money back. In case something doesn't work out in the farm, I've only got 8 weeks to start it all over again. So for me, broilers is something where my cash flow is actually, I work on my cash flow, because every 8 weeks or every 6 weeks when I sell the birds, I've got some money. And I think for me, that works better than saying I'm going to do layers, something that I've never done.
But how do you deal with market fluctuations? Because I know it varies from over time to time.
Every market is driven by demand and supply. And yes, indeed, there are times when we have a glut. There are times we have a slowdown in the market. But there is a time we have increased demand that cannot be, satisfied. So this is a business just like any other business. What for me is really important is to be consistent. Whether the glut is there, whether the insufficient supply is there, be in the market. And that time you're going to reap the fruits. Because I would not lie and tell you there's a genius in knowing when the market will have a glut or when it will have a slowdown, or when there will be little supply or high demand. But if you're consistent, then obviously you're going to hit the right notes at the right time.
So still on the market, how is the pricing model? Do you sell it in kgs or in pieces?
We sell in kgs. The reason why we sell in kgs is because it's a contract growing. If you're not doing well, you don't expect to reap. But if you're doing well, then you reap more. So why would I not sell in kgs even though I'm doing well? Basically, in 35 days, I want to have a live body weight of about 2 kgs. And when it is dressed, it's about 1.45 or 1.5. That way I know I'm in business, whatever market price I get.
Sasa saa hii, kuku inauzwa approximately how much?
Saa hii kuku inaenda for about 320 a kilo.
So speak to us about selling this as live weight and also dressed weight.
Selling it as dressed weight basically means you're selling the capon, the chicken that you see on the supermarket shelf. And you're also selling its offals. You've got the liver, you've got the gizzard, you've got the feet, you've got the neck, you've got the head. You can leverage on all this. So at the end of the day, you will leverage on every body part of the chicken. When you sell it as live, you will sell the whole chicken, and the processor will remain with everything. So it's up to you to see where you are going to leverage more.
So what would be your advice to farmers who are trying to venture into this business, especially for the newcomers, because there are so very many so far?
Raising broilers is not easy, it is not hard. You only have to be focused. Number two, you need to identify your market. Even as you grow the birds, please identify your market. Know that you're selling your birds to this person or this area. If you're contract growing, know that this person is going to collect your chicken. But over and above that, it is a good source of income. I've done it for many years, and this is what I'm doing, and I'm not about to give up.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you even for creating time for us, and cheers for not giving up. Thank you so much, John. Woo! And that's how we wrap up today's episode of Kilimo na Biashara Show. Tell me you've not learned anything, because we started from the basics. We literally started in an empty chicken coop just to show you specifically what you need to install and how, and why you need every specific equipment that you saw there. And we finally concluded right here where we have 22 days old chicken that they are almost set for sale. You've heard about the market price and why broiler farming is booming in Kenya. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Linda Koskei. See you again next Sunday for yet another exciting episode of Kilimo na Biashara. See you again.